Hey girl. Yay. Welcome.
Hey girl.
So glad you made
Thank
it.
you.
Yay.
Me too. I'm so happy to be here and to see your beautiful face.
Yay. So glad you all showed up this morning. It's so good to see you all in here. Sasha, Linnea, Leanne, Anna. Woo! Great to see you all. I'm just gonna give another minute for any latecomers to join. And I'm gonna mute everybody so that there's not too much audio interference. Welcome everybody. Okay. So if you could find the chat button on your Zoom screen, it should be, I think, on the bottom right. And I'd love to hear who you are, what your name is, and where you're coming from today. So if you could just type that into the chat box, that'd be awesome. All right, just getting a couple things set up here. Linnea from Ventura, awesome. I used to live in Santa Barbara and I've been thinking about that beautiful ocean a lot lately. Ashley from Boulder, awesome. I didn't know you were out there, girl. Right on. Regina, yay, you made it from Mexico. San Miguel de Allende, no way, I was just there for Christmas. Beautiful place. Sasha from Sacramento, California. Amazing, amazing. So if you're just coming into the room, I'm asking everyone to put your name and where you're coming from in the chat box so that I know everyone who attended today. Daniela from Staten Island, New York, amazing. Joe from Belgium, amazing. Okay, cool. So happy to have you all here today. I'm gonna start sharing my screen. All right, thanks for your patience, everybody. Okay, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen right now? Yay, awesome. Great, love the emojis. All right, so I've got a lot I'm gonna share with you all today, so I'm just gonna dive right in. And if you ever have any questions that come up, just put them in the chat box as we go, and I'll answer them near the end. So today we're talking about how to heal IBS and digestive issues holistically. And this webinar, I made it for all women who are struggling with digestive issues, and that can be IBS or it can be undiagnosed issues. I work with women who have Crohn's disease. So if you live with gut problems, then you're in the right place to be here. And I'm really excited to share all this powerful information with you today. So you already told me who you are, where you're coming from. My name is Glow, and I'm currently in Guatemala, which in the photo here you can see that is actually my view right now. I'm looking out at the volcanoes. It's really beautiful. I'm a licensed trauma-informed somatic body worker, digestive wellness and chronic pain practitioner, trained in Hakomi method, which is like a mind-body integration therapy. And I'm the founder of the 3-month Radiant Mind and Body Digestive Healing Program, which is a mentorship program for women with IBS who are wanting to overcome and feel amazing in their minds and bodies. And most importantly for this class, I'm a former IBS and adult acne sufferer, and I'm officially 2.5 years totally symptom-free, and so happy to say that. There were many months and years where I couldn't have even imagined this reality. So I'm very grateful to be without any symptoms, and while it's also good for me, it's also good for you because that means that there's hope. no matter how bad it is right now, just remember that there are a lot of women who have overcome IBS completely, not just managing their symptoms, but completely eliminating it. So there is hope for you too. So this is a question. I'd love for you to answer it in the chat box. If I told you that you could get rid of IBS or digestive problems for good, no more symptoms or flare-ups, how would you feel? So if you could just type your answer into the chat box, how would that make you feel if you did not have to worry an ounce of your energy that your symptoms were going to come back, or that you had to hold yourself back during the day? Let's see here. Okay, I'm trying to figure out, oops. This thing is being silly. Okay, for some reason I can't see the chat messages right now. All right, so I see, hey Ivana, so glad you made it from Serbia. Woo woo. Sasha, amazing. Relieved and empowered. Yes, it'd be so relieving, huh? I would start crying tears of joy. Yes, so very happy, light, really good. Anakruti, welcome. Makana, welcome. Yes, happy, light and happy. Totally. So these are, sorry ladies, I'm trying to figure out this chat box situation. Oops. Okay. So yeah, this is a big deal, what you all are going through right now. It's not like some little surface layer hiccup in your life. Like IBS and digestive issues can be so overwhelming and can really hijack so much of our energy and time and potential, because we're just being sucked into those recurring symptoms and patterns, and then the anxiety that goes along with it. So that's why I'm so passionate about sharing all this, how I overcame IBS, because life is seriously so different without having to worry about gut problems. So I never have to worry anymore about, is there a bathroom nearby? Is this food going to make me feel awful and ruin my day? Should I just cancel my plans altogether? And the thought that I used to have a lot was, am I going to feel this bad for the rest of my life? But it wasn't always like this for me. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story, just so you can get a little background about me and hear where I'm coming from. So in 2014, I was living in Thailand, and I contracted a really severe case of dengue fever, which is a mosquito-borne virus. And for most people, it's not that big of a deal, but I got a really severe case, and it messed me up for months and then years. And I thought it was just going to be like 1 week of hell. But the effects were really long lasting, and I had a lot of short-term and long-term memory loss, ton of weakness in my body. And the most lasting consequence of all was that I suddenly was not able to digest anything. So I went from having a perfect body, perfect digestive system, to suddenly, I would eat the most simple foods or just drink water, and I would feel so bloated, and I would just feel like my body couldn't digest. And I had, terrible belching and indigestion and bloating and gas and pain, vague abdominal pain. And suddenly I had adult acne, which was just making my self-esteem even worse. And it just felt like I was really spiraling out of control, and I didn't know how to get a handle on what I was dealing with. I finally went to the doctor. I went to the Western doctor, Kaiser, and she diagnosed me with IBS, and she said, she gave me a 4-page list of foods that I would never be able to eat ever again in my life. And she said, literally, she said, well, at least you'll be sexy and skinny your whole life because you can't eat anything. And I was like, what? I was so livid, because that just seemed so unprofessional, first of all, for a doctor to say that. And I'm a foodie. I'm like, there's no way I'm not going to eat 4 pages of food for the rest of my life. So it really, kickstarted my motivation, and I realized that, okay, this entire sector of medicine doesn't believe that I can heal, so I guess I have to do it on my own. And so for the next 5 years, I dove really deep into my healing, into all these alternative healing modalities. I tried all the diets, the colonics, the herbs, and naturopaths. I was willing to do anything really to feel better. And so I tried like pretty much everything. And, a lot of it helped my symptoms a little bit. Like it would kind of slow my symptoms down or make them a little less extreme, but I wasn't receiving the full healing that I was looking for. And I'll tell you a little bit more about it later, how I came to really heal. But it happened to be a lot of emotional and mindset aspects that I didn't realize were keeping me ill. And so it was so much more than the diet and the supplements and the food and all of that. So I'm really excited to share more about that today. So first, I'd love to hear about why you are here and what is your ultimate goal? Are you looking for a short-term symptom fix, or are you ready for a long-term recovery solution? And there's no wrong answer here at all. I'm just curious what you're looking for right now. And so if you could just put that answer in the chat, you can type in short-term or long-term depending on what you're looking for. So to exit. Oops, I heard there's a screech going on with the volume. Is the volume okay now with my sound? Can you give me a thumbs up? No. What's going on with the sound? So I've got a lot of long-term in here. It's like from the background. Oh, interesting. One moment. Give me a second to troubleshoot this. Yeah. You're saying there's like a screeching sound in the background. You know what that might be from? Sound. Yeah.
Try muting yourself, taking yourself off the video, and unmuting.
How do you reconnect? Is it just...
You'll lose the first part.
Okay. Oh, I didn't even. Okay. So I'm going to try to. Yes, animal sounds. Well, there are a lot of cicadas around here, so that may be what you're hearing. And I can't turn the insects off, unfortunately. But let me try to mute myself really quick. I'll mute. All right, so I'm seeing a lot of sustainable health, long-term solutions. The goal is not to feel inflamed and long-term. Great, and Makana, yeah, you said both, and 100%. So in order to do a long-term solution, that requires short-term steps. So there's no way to just take big, long leaps at the beginning. We have to work with short-term steps in order to get to that end goal. Okay, so I apologize for the loud insects, but that's just the way it is right now. All right, so by the end of this webinar, you will have new skills in your tool belt to handle anxiety attacks and digestive flare-ups. You're going to understand how stress is affecting your gut health, especially with the pandemic. Have a better idea of what diets and eating habits are best for healing digestion. And then I've got some awesome bonus gifts at the end. So make sure to stay all the way till the end. Okay. I will not be teaching today another one-size-fits-all approach to healing. I know that every single person in this class right now has a unique IBS situation and has a completely different body from me and from all of you. So there's no way that one diet is going to be enough to satisfy all of your body's needs in order to rebalance. This is also not another restrictive diet protocol. I don't believe in that. And it's not a quick fix to eliminate IBS. I wish there was, but the truth is that it took months and probably years to get you to where you are now with IBS. So the fact is it's going to take a little bit of time as well to unwind those patterns and rebalance the body. As much as we may want someone else to fix us or just tell us what's wrong, what we can do, that's just not possible, because no one else can never know your story or your body as well as you do. Within your body holds that wisdom, holds the healing wisdom and knowing, and your body is speaking to you. We just need to learn the language which comes through your symptoms, understand it, so that you can find that balance. So healing chronic illness requires rebalancing the biological systems, emotional self-discovery, and lifestyle shifts in the right direction. So as I said before, your body has intuitive healing power. And in the chat box, could you write yes, no, or maybe if you believe this? Do you think that your body has intuitive healing power? Let's see. Yes, 100%. Amazing. Yeah, so that's cool that you ladies already have that knowing within you that your body has healing power, because it can be really easy to forget that when we are having our flare-ups and it feels like our body is super angry at us. So the body knows how to heal, but our mind can get in the way. So I help my clients get more comfortable in their bodies, learn to trust the bodies again, so that they're eventually able to understand their symptoms on a whole new level. And I remember I used to think during IBS flare-ups, well, my body just totally hates me. Or I would think my body is a total wreck and has no idea how to heal. My body doesn't even know where to start. And that is definitely the mind speaking. The body communicates simply, and something is not right. And that's why you're feeling like the pain and the discomfort and the bloating, because there is some imbalance, and your body is communicating in the clearest way possible to let you know that it's not happy with some aspect of what's going on. I teach women how to discover the root cause of their digestive issues, trust their body again, and follow their unique blueprint for healing. Today's agenda, we're going to talk about the main cause, IBS. We're going to talk about awareness and mastering our minds, how to read your body like a book, food and eating habits, lifestyle hacks. I'm going to tell you about the transformational program that I'm hosting in a couple of weeks, and then bonus gifts at the end. So let's dive into it. What causes IBS flare-ups anyway? IBS can seem so confusing and mysterious sometimes, and I hear from a lot of my clients that it's the unpredictability that can be the worst part of it, is that you don't know what's going to happen from day to day. So I notice a lot of my clients, they prepare for the worst and they expect the worst. So maybe if we understand that a bit more, then we'll gain more control over our situation. So we got to talk about biology for a second. We're going to talk about our nervous system. So the autonomic nervous system is, like it sounds, more the automatic functions that we don't have to consciously think about. And there's two branches of that. There's the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. And those cannot be on at the same time. They are separate branches. One gets turned on when there's danger, and another is turned on when the body feels relaxed, the mind feels relaxed. I apologize for the cicadas. They're being very rowdy today. I think they know it's Friday. So the sympathetic is also known as the fight or flight response. You might have heard about this before. And this is the body's stress response to perceived threats. This is helpful. Our ancestors needed this in order to survive. Let's say there's a mountain lion running after you. You better hope that your body jumps into physical action. You better hope that all the blood runs to your muscles and your extremities to help you fight or run away, flight. So none of the blood is in the digestion anymore. Digestion turns off. The immune response turns off because this is not a time to be eating and digesting food or fighting off viruses or bacteria. What's really important is running away from the danger. And common symptoms include a feeling of stress. There's cortisol in the system, and dilated pupil, anxiety. And I know that I experienced fight or flight this morning. So just because I teach this does not mean I'm immune to stress. I just have the tools to deal with it and to recover quicker. So today I'm in Guatemala, and turns out that there's a total lockdown starting today that I wasn't aware of. And so I went into town, and there was all these police officers that were stopping me and asking for my passport. And they said, okay, you have 45 minutes to go into town, and you aren't allowed to leave for the next week, and you need to get all your groceries. And so I was like, didn't have plans to go grocery shopping. I have a webinar in an hour. And these police officers just so much anxiety was coming up. And so I was running around, getting the groceries. I've got a webinar to prepare for. And I just felt the cortisol rising in the body, right? So that is fight or flight. It's when you feel your heart beating and you're I don't feel good right now. I'm feeling really anxious. And sometimes that's useful, but a lot of people with IBS have an overactive fight or flight response when that's not the appropriate response to be in, because the anxiety might be around food, and having the body get ready to run away is not going to be helpful. And on the other side, we have parasympathetic, which is the rest and digest response. And this is when you feel relaxed, you feel safe. Just think about home or whatever feels like home to you, what feels calming and relaxing and a deep, easy breath. That triggers the rest and digest response. And that is when your body is prepared to receive food. It's ready to assimilate nutrients. And this is also the time when your body is restoring and replenishing and healing. So if we're always in fight or flight, or a lot of times in fight or flight, those of you with IBS, that means your body's never in a time to be digesting or healing. So you gotta figure that one out. It's triggered by both physical and emotional stressors. And I'm curious to hear from you all if your symptoms have gotten more severe during the pandemic. Has this time been extra stressful for you, or would you say less? Could you type in the chat box? I'd love to hear from you all, whether it's been a more stressful time or less. More stressful, yeah. And Ashley said yes, and underneath the surface there's a limiting belief that says it doesn't. What exactly were you referring to, Ashley? I don't remember when you typed that. It says it doesn't what? Yes, I'm getting some more stressful, and then somebody wrote less, surprisingly. Symptoms are about the same. Yeah, so it depends, right? If you had a really stressful job that you were reporting to and now you don't have to, then it might be a less stressful time. But I know for a lot of us, this is a time of uncertainty, and there's so much talk about danger, and there's a lot of fear in the air. So it's understandable that the fear is being triggered more. Great. And if you haven't yet, please just make sure you type your name and where you're coming from in the chat box in case you came in late. So I was just talking about how the brain affects the gut. So when we're stressed, it affects our digestive system, but it's also a two-way street, and the gut affects the brain. So there's this gut-brain axis, this two-way communication street. So our most important hormones for regulating mood, serotonin and dopamine, are produced in the gut. 90% of serotonin and 50% of dopamine are produced in the gut. And so if our guts are not functioning properly or efficiently, that means they're also not going to be producing the right hormones that make us feel happy and relaxed and calm. And so if the digestive system is weak, this has a big impact on the mood and emotions. So a body stuck in fight or flight mode plus a weak digestive system equals flare-ups that are frequent and intense. And in traditional Chinese medicine, it is commonly known that people with IBS have a combination of a weak digestive system plus emotional and mental stress. So that is a tough combination for the body, as we all know too well. So in order to heal, we just need to get out of fight or flight mode and figure out how to do that. So how? You master your mind, master your emotions. There is a big range of emotions that we can feel, all the way from fear, which includes anxiety, shrinking, a recoiling, hiding feeling. And then it opens up to love, expansion, a sense of rising, ease, comfort, safety. So you could just take a moment and tap into your emotions right now and build your emotional awareness. Can you notice what kind of emotions you are feeling right now? Is it more on the spectrum of fear and anxiety, or do you feel like you are experiencing more of this hopefulness or ease, comfort, love? I'd love to hear from you all. If you could put it in the chat box, I'd love to hear where you're at right now. And again, there's no wrong answers, just curious. Peace and comfort, beautiful. Stress, frustration, anxiety, yeah, totally. Yeah, so we've got all over the place, which is that beautiful diversity. And if you're feeling that anxiety and stress and frustration, then you're also in the right place, because we're learning all about that today, how to shift our vibration, shift our emotions into more pleasant feelings. Yeah, getting some more anxiety, usually anxiety in the morning, totally. So it sounds like there's a couple you were saying there's anxiety in the mornings, which is really interesting. And I'm curious if those of you who have anxiety in the mornings if you have any sort of morning routine to help kind of calm the mind. I'd love to hear from you. So emotions play a huge role in IBS, and when we're able to increase and up-level our energetic vibration, we feel more love, gratitude, safety, our body reacts physically. So it's not just like in the mind, woo-woo, let's feel good. It's like our bodies literally react with the proper chemicals and hormones to match those emotions. And so a big part of what I do in the program is I help my clients get to these higher vibrations on a more regular basis. Because if you are stuck in fear and anxiety, you're literally in an emergency response, and it's this fight or flight again. And when you're in that place, healing is not even possible. You can't even begin to heal if the body is reacting and you're on alert to danger. And the good news is that it's totally doable to overcome fight or flight. And then once we get out of that emergency mode, then we start to heal and recover. So how do we do this? Might be easier said than done, like just be happy. It doesn't really work like that. So something I want to touch on is anxiety versus excitement. So anxiety is negative anticipation. It is expecting the worst or expecting a not great outcome, which happens a lot when we've had traumas, is that we kind of overlay our past onto our future and we expect that the worst may happen, and that conjures up a lot of anxiety within us. Now, if we're able to shift that negative anticipation into positive anticipation, then we're hoping for the best, we're expecting the best. And the truth is that nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. It's just not possible to predict the future. So why would we assume the worst? And why would we worry ourselves about the worst possible outcomes that might happen? Or crap, after I eat this burger, I'm just going to be totally keeled over. You know, I know I do that, you know, where it's just like creating these predictions that create the stress. So I encourage you to practice shifting into positive anticipation. Another way to shift into higher emotions is to practice gratitude. Right? Daily gratitude practice has been huge. Become curious. I'll talk more about that later. Meditation and connecting to nature. Nature is a beautiful grounding source of positive energy. And if we are able to connect to nature, then that will help balance us out. So I'm going to lead you all in a short exercise for relaxation, easing the mind, releasing tension and anxiety. So you can either be laid out on your back, or you can be seated. And if you're seated, please have your feet on the ground, your feet planted on the earth. Get some chats. So I'm going to check out what's going on in the chat box. Okay, my computer's freezing. Oops. Okay, sorry ladies, I think my computer is freezing up. Awesome, so I'm seeing some questions here. Right before we get into the meditation, I'm just gonna read these chat comments first. Yeah, meditation in the morning. Okay, so I'm gonna answer these questions right out at the end, okay? All right, so we're getting in that nice position for meditation. So either laying down or seated with your feet on the ground. You can begin to close your eyes and start to take some deeper breaths. Every breath, try to make it a little bit slower on the exhale. And just bringing your focus attention to that inhale and exhale. And we're calming the mind down to a single point of focus. So we're just focusing on the inhale and exhale right now. Whenever our mind gets distracted, we just gently bring it back to the breath. All right, so we're going to start with a short body scan. So this is your awareness scanning your physical sensations from the top of your head to your feet. So you can start to bring your awareness at the crown of your head. And slowly bringing it down through your head, over your face, the back of your neck. And if there's any tension along the way while you scan your body, just to make a quick note of it and keep going. Noticing the throat, the collarbone area. Scanning your chest and your heart space. And as you do this scan, I invite you to just suspend any judgment of yourself and of your sensations. So just get really curious about what you are finding, like you're on a little adventure. There's nothing to judge or attack or fix. We're just getting really curious. So let's keep going down to the abdomen, those digestive organs. to the base of the pelvis, the hip sockets, the legs, knees, and finally noticing your feet planted on the ground. And then you can imagine a beam of soft white light coming from the sky all the way and making contact with the top of your head. And just feel this warm light resting at the top of your head, pouring in. And you can slowly open up the top of your head to allow this soothing white light to flow down into your body, into your brain, down your spinal cord, through your heart. And then into your digestive system, feeling this nourishing, gentle energy washing through your body. And it comes all the way down to your pelvis and through your legs until it meets the earth. And just notice what that feels like in your body. And then from your feet, from the earth, you can imagine an orange energy from the earth, the color of the earth coming up through your feet. This earth energy, orange, rising up through your legs, through your pelvis, and coming up to nourish and support your organs. Feeling that grounding support of the earth. And it continues to rise up towards your heart space. And in your heart space, these two energies from above and below, they mingle and they create this beautiful, gentle pink energy at the heart. And it's a really light, warming energy. And as you breathe, start to expand this energy beyond your body. So visualize this pink, glowing energy, light pink, just emanating from your body and filling up the whole room that you're in right now. Without effort, it's just expanding beyond you, expanding out into your neighborhood. It's even going out beyond the city that you're in. And then allow it to expand all the way around the earth. And as we are all simultaneously connecting into our heart energies in different spots around the globe, you can feel this connection that we are all creating right now. As all of our heart energies touch and connect. Perhaps you feel a sense of connection and support. And then you'll slowly bring this all back, bring it back into your body. And then notice if there's still any place of tension or pain in your body right now. And if so, I want you to bring this pink heart energy and breathe it into that place of pain or tension or discomfort. And I want you to just surround this space with that energy and say hello. Say hello to this part of your body like you're saying hello to a new friend. And again, try to suspend that judgment and just have total curiosity for what you're finding right now. And as you greet this part of your body, maybe you can notice if it has a shape or a size. Is it dense or light or tingling? Is it heavy? Does it have a color? Is it moving or is it stuck and stagnant? Just take a moment to get really curious and notice all the aspects of this. And then you can say goodbye to your new friend and begin to deepen your breath and notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And slowly start to open your eyes. And as you open your eyes, you can stay grounded in that gentle heart energy as a place of comfort. And when you are ready, I would love to hear one word or phrase in the chat box of how you're feeling right now or anything that you experienced in that meditation. Wow, comfort, yes. Calm, relaxed, rested, relaxed, held. Amazing. Great. So happy to hear that you took that well, and thank you for buying into that. It only works if you are allowing yourself to go with it, and good job. So that's one example of many different tools to use to get the body relaxed. And you might notice that your digestive system feels more relaxed as well, as does your mind. So great. These are other ways. If you want to take a photo of this, we don't have time to go over everything, but these are other ways to get out of fight or flight mode. So you can take a screenshot or photo. I personally love to receive massage, especially abdominal massage, Qinit Sang, which is Chinese abdominal massage. I know right now with the pandemic, it's hard to get a massage, but when possible, that has helped me a lot in healing chronic pain. Our mind is the most powerful tool we have. It can be our worst enemy or our greatest ally. So how might you be unconsciously preventing yourself from healing? There's something called a fixed mindset, and that is when you have this idea that nothing's going to change. You're repeating the same story in your head. It's pessimistic, it's stagnant. It's just repeating the old story that's not working. Versus the growth mindset, which is curious about new possibilities. That's what you just tapped into with this meditation, was starting to look at your problems or your pains a little bit differently with a different lens on. So it's not just the same, assuming the worst. It's starting to be curious about, what is the body trying to tell me? What are these symptoms? And how can I just get curious and learn from my body instead of attacking it? And sometimes we think we have a growth mindset. We're like, yeah, we want to heal from IBS. But then the words that come out of our mouth or the thoughts that we're thinking are not saying the same thing. They're perpetuating a limiting belief. Like, I don't think it's possible I'll ever heal IBS, or I've tried everything and it's just not working. And it's normal to have those limiting beliefs. This is a big part of the program as well that I'll be sharing, is how do we reconstruct beliefs that are holding us back and keeping us sick. So yeah, I'm just gonna skip over this. We have years of practice saying the same thoughts over and over again. So it does take consistent practice and the right tools in order to change our habit patterns and our thought patterns. So if you could take a photo of this or a screenshot, this is your homework for the week. So please do this and let me know how it goes for you. I'll walk through it really quick. So you're going to take a couple moments And you can journal this out when you do it at home. And I want you to tell me about the truest, most beautiful story you can imagine about health and well-being in your body. And maybe you've never even experienced before in this lifestyle, in this life, but I'm inviting you to use your imagination to just imagine what is the most beautiful story you could ever imagine. And I want you to get into, what does it feel like in your body? What do you feel like doing? Do you notice any changes in breathing or posture when you think about this? So please do this week. Let me know how it goes. We can use our imagination and positive affirmations to rewire our brains. Pretty powerful. This is another aspect, which you can take a screenshot of this. We don't have time, unfortunately, today to go through this. But this is using affirmations to manifest perfect health. So again, this is sitting in a quiet space and finding an affirmation that really resonates with you, something that you're wanting to feel. So maybe the affirmation is, my body is in perfect health. And even if you don't believe this yet and you don't feel it, that's okay. Just start saying it. Start saying it out loud is the most powerful way you can do it. And I guarantee you that if you do this for 5 or 10 minutes and you do your best to really feel what you're saying and believe it, you're going to feel very different at the end of 5 or 10 minutes. So give this a try. Let me know how it goes. This is really powerful. One of my favorite affirmations lately has been, I feel so good in my body all the freaking time. And even if I'm not feeling that way when I start, I usually feel pretty freaking good by the end of the meditation. Okay, let's talk about learning to read your body like a book. And this is understanding your symptoms. Journaling is a great way to do this kind of investigative work, to understand what is triggering us to feel good or bad. If you're feeling bad, ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What did I just consume? So this can be food, but this is also interaction. Who were you just talking to? What news were you reading? What thoughts were you just thinking? Same for feeling good. This is just as important, to understand what makes you feel good, what makes you tick. So take note of that when you're like, I'm feeling really good. Notice what you were just doing or thinking or eating. Another exercise, which might seem a little woo-woo, but it has really been powerful for me and people I work with, is give your body parts a voice and begin to write. So this is another journaling exercise where, let's say it's your belly that is causing war in your body, it feels like. See if you can give the power to your belly and start to write from that place and express from that place, because we're trying to understand the body. And how do we do that? We have to put it into human terms. Try that out. I'm going to talk a little bit about emotional eating. I know this is something that I used to struggle with really bad when I had IBS. And for me, it was a sense of comforting. So I would feel the bloating and the indigestion and the depression and anxiety about all of this. And what would I do to cope? I would emotionally eat, which would make my symptoms worse and create all this guilt. And so I know firsthand that it can be such a vicious cycle and can be really hard to get out of it. So I just want to touch on it today. So when you catch yourself in this cycle, the best advice I can give you right now is to slow that moment down. Just pause, take a moment to reflect, and without judgment, as much as you can, ask yourself, what am I really wanting? Why am I going for this food? What am I wanting to feel? And just realize that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing flawed. You are trying to meet a need here. So what is that need? Are you looking for comfort? Are you looking for safety, connection, love? So take a moment to really ask yourself, like you might a child, what are you wanting right now? And if this isn't working, if you're just I don't know, I used to be like this monster without a brain sometimes, and I would get into the emotional eating. And so if you cannot even be tamed to ask yourself those questions, try and distract yourself with something that feels good. So instead of continuing emotional eating, maybe you watch something that is really lighthearted and funny. Just do something to kind of shift, it's all about the shift in getting out of these cycles. Cold water, exercise, breath work, comedy, like do something to change how you're feeling. So the Radiant Mind and Body program, it actually starts in a week and a half from today. It's going to cover everything that we've talked about already in way more depth, and with integration into your life, and then everything that we still have to talk about in this webinar. And I'm realizing I'm going to go a little bit over an hour, so I understand if you have to leave, but I've been taking my time, I guess, today. So I'll probably be done in like 25 minutes, just so you know. So in the program, I'm going to be talking a lot about conquering emotional eating, how to shift out of fight or flight mode, reading symptoms, reducing anxiety, how to access that intuitive healer within you, and also how to access your confident sexuality and libido again. That is all intertwined. And what happens when we combine all these skills? IBS symptoms will fade away. So now let's talk about food, diet, and eating habits. And you might be like, what? Why are we just talking about this now? Isn't that like the main thing? This is digestion after all. And diet is important. It's the way that our physical body generates energy. However, it gets put on a pedestal when people talk about IBS and healing digestion. And people often just look at diet and food, and they think that the answer is in that. And it's part of the problem and part of the solution for sure. But there's a reason why I put it towards the end, because it is important, but it's not the most important in my opinion. So let's talk about how we eat, which is just as important as what we eat. So we're going to talk about mindful eating. And this is, I even have a lot of room for growth in this myself. And we've had a habit since we were little kids of how to eat. So it can take some time, but every day we get a chance to practice. So these are my tips for you. When you're going to eat, set the emotional mood. Before you eat, take a minute or two to sit with a feeling of gratitude, whatever you feel grateful for. Maybe it's the food, the farmers, maybe it's gratitude for your body for digesting so well, and take 3 deep, slow breaths. Now this is great for getting out of fight or flight and relaxing your body, getting into rest and digest. And it is also getting your body physically prepared to take in food, because what's happening with this setting the mood is you are allowing your stomach to fill with the proper digestive enzymes. So when you take it slow, you're allowing your stomach to fill up with these enzymes, and in your mouth, those enzymes to break down the food. So less likely to have bloat and indigestion. Try to avoid drinking a lot of water before or after your meal, because that also will dilute the natural enzymes that you are secreting. Pace is extremely important. How slow can you eat your food? Can you take 30 chews for every bite? And can you be really present with every bite that you're eating? I know that when I'm doing my best with this mindful eating, I'm enjoying the food before it even goes in my mouth. I'm looking at it, I'm smelling it, I'm taking it in, and really being present and grateful for this food that I get to digest. So play around with this. We all have different ways of mindful eating, and what works might be different for you. Portion size, this depends on you and your intuition. So play with your portion size. Notice that if you eat a smaller portion, and it might upset your belly less, because if you have IBS, you have a sensitive gut, which means the more you eat, the more sensations are happening in your stomach, which might create more anxiety and stress for your system. Food combining, and again, this is a big topic, but just to touch on it, like you don't want to be eating fruit at the same time that you're eating rice and beans, and you definitely don't want to be eating melon with anything else. Frequency of meals, snacking, again, this is a lot having to do with intuitive eating, and intermittent fasting can be really helpful as a way to give your digestive system a break throughout the day. So you can eat for 8 hours And then the rest of the day and night, give your digestive system a little bit of a break. Portion, yes. This is a chat from Linnea. I know I have to cut down on that, totally. And it can be tough, you know, because we have these habits of how much we eat, how quick we eat, just shoveling food in, and so much room for growth. Okay, so another thing we're going to dive into in the program is healing our relationship with food. If you experience fear of food or eating, emotional eating, feeling guilty, sad, or negative after eating, self-sabotage, then it probably means you could improve your relationship with food a little bit more. This is a whole beautiful topic that I'm really excited to dive deeper in the program. Unfortunately, today's time doesn't allow. So what types of food should you eat if you have digestive issues? The general guideline with traditional Chinese medicine is to eat warm, simple, and cooked foods. And the reason for that is we are trying to make it as easy on our digestion as possible. So the warm and cooked means that it's already slightly digested and broken down. And the simple means that your body digestion isn't having to multitask and deal with different types of food differently. So we're just trying to make it as easy on your body as possible. Now I get this question a lot of like, will I ever be able to eat my favorite foods or eat kind of crazy? And the answer is yes. If you heal your gut, heal your IBS, then yes, you will be able to eat again like a normal person. But for the first months when you are doing that healing work to restore your gut, you are going to want to take it really simple because you're just trying to create an environment for restoration. And then afterwards, like for me now, I can eat pretty much whatever I want. I eat really healthy, but I don't have to worry about, oh, can I have this pizza? Like I'm usually vegan. Is this cheese going to mess me up? Like I don't have to worry about it. I know that my gut is resilient now and can handle whatever I throw at it within reason. Building digestive fire, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I would suggest avoiding dairy. That can be really hard to digest, especially with IBS. And for a lot of people, triggers are gluten, processed sugars, and a lot of processed oils and processed foods. So those are some general guidelines. Again, your body is so unique. So if you end up joining the program, we will deep dive into your particular symptoms and your body type to understand what are your trigger foods, what to stay away from during the 3 months while you are in recovery. Again, journaling is a great way to document your symptoms and how food is affecting you. A low FODMAP, you might have heard about that. It's an elimination diet. Whoa, that was weird. Low FODMAP is recommended by some nutritionists to try to figure out your trigger foods. However, I don't really recommend it because it can actually trigger the body more because it can be really shocking to suddenly cut out like 75% of what you're used to eating. And it can cause more sensitivity. However, it does work for some people. And what worked for me personally was a plant-based diet. So no meat, no animal products. And that was the easiest on my system. Okay. So this is the closest you're going to get to a quick fix. You might want to take a picture of this or screenshot it depending on what your symptoms are. These are some like quick tips, whether you have constipation, diarrhea, bloating, or mixed. These are some good tips. All right. So as I said earlier, IBS is emotional mental stress plus an already weak digestive system. Therefore, healing IBS means lowering your stress levels and building your digestive fire, building your digestion. How do we do that? So the digestive system in Chinese medicine has a lot to do with the stomach and spleen. And the stomach, well, so I'll just get right into this. So again, we're going to eat warm cooked foods and drink hot beverages. You could think of your digestive fire as a literal campfire. It wants to be fueled consistently. And if we eat too much raw food or cold drinks, that's kind of like putting out the fire. So we want to always make sure to be kindling the fire. As much as we want to skip meals because it hurts so bad, or we just think that's the best thing to do, that's not generally not the best idea, because you're kind of putting out your fire if you're not feeding it. And then the next meal you have, it might be even worse because you haven't been keeping up your fire. You're going to want to eat probiotics regularly, fermented foods. Whoa, sorry, I don't know why my computer is making lines all over it. Eat slowly, get adequate rest, avoid grain, milk, and sweets. And this is an important one. It has to do with the spleen and the stomach. They are affected by excessive worry and overworking or eating in a rush. So a quick overview of herbs and supplements. I recommend eating probiotics daily and fermented foods. As I spoke with you, Ashley, I was saying how fats can be kind of aggravating for IBS. So something like sauerkraut or kimchi might be a great way to get in your probiotics. Enzymes can be very helpful to help digest. I like the Standard Processed brand, and this just supplements the body's enzymes to help you digest your food better. And this is really simple, but warmth is huge for nourishing the body, and warmth is expanding and relaxing. So do warm food and drinks. Use heating tools, hot water bottle or heating pad for your belly when it's feeling really cramped. Heat helps relax and soothe. Layering with clothes, you might want to put an extra layer on your belly, especially if you're in a colder climate. You can use touch and cleansing. You can do foot soaks, especially if you dry your feet off afterwards. And this all helps to relax the nervous system. Okay, so we are really just glimpsing the top of the iceberg in this webinar, and I hope you get some good things out of this webinar. And if you join the program, I'm excited to just unleash all of it, because there's so much to everything I'm talking about. There's so much beautiful things to be learned. But let's talk about lifestyle for a little bit. Self-care, abdominal self-massage. I will send you all out a video. If you haven't received it yet, I have a video for self-massage that can help the pain. And we talk a lot about blocked sexual centers. So if you experience bloating or constipation, oftentimes there's a blockage in your sexual center or your root chakra, which is where we have a sense of safety. And so if we are extremely tight in our pelvic floor or holding a lot of tension there, the aponic energy, which is the energy that is very releasing and eliminative, it's being held in. And so that's why we feel like we have all this energy and gas and shit like stuck inside of our system, is because there's not this open door of flowing energy out. So we work a lot with unblocking the root chakras. Sleep is another extremely important aspect of healing. And this is because this is when our body restores and repairs. So we need to make sure we're getting restorative sleep and having a regular sleep schedule. So try to get the same hours more or less every day. And most importantly, try waking up at the same time every day. Your body really likes a regular sleep schedule and knows what to expect. And if you have a wild monkey mind before going to bed, try listening to guided meditations before bed to unwind and get you ready for sleep. I also recommend eating 3 hours before bed, no later, because if our digestive system is still working when you're trying to sleep, the sleep won't be as restorative. Okay, some movement practices that are helpful for IBS is Kundalini yoga, one of my favorites. Really any kind of yoga can be really helpful to just get in the body, use the breath, get the circulation moving. And what we're doing is using that body and breath to move through stress. Because when we have stress, it is affecting our body. And if we're just trying to think our way out of it, That doesn't work. It's going to manifest somewhere in our body. And a lot of you with IBS are experiencing that in your digestive system. It's the manifestation of too much stress. Oops. Okay. So healing personal relationships. Another aspect of what I'm diving into in the program is restructuring your transformed life. There's so much space and time that opens up once you are no longer worrying about IBS. So how do you restructure your life to serve you and do all the things that you love to do? And community support is so important. So the Radiant Mind and Body Digestive Healing Program, as I said, is starting in a week and a half. We have a couple spots left. This is a 3-month deep dive self-discovery to help overcome IBS, digestive issues, so that you can feel amazing in your mind and body again. The idea is to bring together a group of positive, resilient, motivated women who are ready to heal, and finally ready to overcome IBS and stop being held back in their lives by these issues and get on with their life and step into their highest potential and level up in all aspects of their life. So the power of coming together and doing this as a group is immense. You know, when we're surrounded by people who understand what we're going through, it can be our sounding boards, can be reflections of us, and can be motivating us. It is profound. This is also going to include accountability to keep you on track with your lifestyle, diet, and mindset to assure your transformation. You're going to have 15 live weekly coaching modules and lessons where I will deep dive into one of these topics. Say emotional eating will be an entire hour-and-a-half class. And then I'll also send you home with self-work. So it's kind of like homework for you to bring home and integrate it into your life. Because if you just attend one of these classes, your brain might get it, you know, you got your mind thinking about it. But until you're really integrating it into your life and integrating it into your body, physically, emotionally, mentally, it's not going to have that big of an impact. So it's all about practicing it for 3 months. You know how much can happen in 3 months if you're dedicated to something and committed and practicing? A lot can happen. We're also going to provide tracking tools to monitor your progress and success. You'll have lifelong access to the women's groups as this group continues to grow. You'll always be in that community. And you will have 2 one-on-one personalized coaching calls where we go deep dive into your symptoms, into your trigger foods, what's working and not working, and part of the community for life. So can you imagine a life in which eating food does not conjure up feelings of anxiety and fear? Look at these ladies. They look so relaxed and happy to be eating. That might feel like a far-off future for you, but I can assure you that with the right protocol and practice and commitment and support, it's very possible. It's getting windy out here. Can you guys still hear me? Can I get a thumbs up? You can hear me? Okay, cool. Ashley, I love how comfy you are right now. I'm a little bit jealous. You're like snuggled up with a fuzzy blanket. That's amazing. Okay. All right, so healing IBS on your own versus healing IBS with support and guidance. They're very different processes, and both are possible. Definitely, like I healed IBS on my own. Both possible, both very different. Sorry, my computer's freezing a little bit. Okay. Healing IBS on your own. Does this look like you? Sometimes you're like curled up and you're just, it feels so isolating sometimes when nobody knows what you're going through and there's no answers. So without guidance, it's possible, but it may take a long time. For me, it took 5 messy, frustrating, and confusing years. And I was diligently working towards health. I wasn't just doing it as a part-time job. It was like my full-time job to figure out what the hell was going on with me and how to heal it. It took me 5 messy years. But until I never really got to the end of the story, I finally decided to join a program. It was a 6-month program for healing, it was actually a massage and bodywork program, but it had a lot to do with consciousness work and self-discovery and meditation. And once I joined a group of other people who are also committed to healing and committed to self-discovery, and I was receiving these tools and resources, I saw more improvement in about 4 months than I had seen in 5 years, because I had that support and guidance and structure, and I was being held accountable for my work and what I came there to do. So I'd love to hear, are you ladies part of a group right now who understand what you're going through, who are ready to support you through the highs and lows of your journey? If you are in a group right now that you feel really supported with and motivated by, please say yes. Otherwise, if you're not yet, just say no. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm really stoked to be with you all right now. Yes, Linnea, awesome. No, not now. Ooh, studying Ayurveda, amazing. I love Ayurveda. No, so yeah, it sounds like a majority of you aren't yet in a group of supported women. So healing gut issues with the right support and guidance is very different. Transformation can happen a lot easier and quicker. As I said, as soon as I seriously committed to my health transformation and I realized I didn't have to do it all on my own, I saw more progress in 4 months than I had in 5 years. So it was very profound, the difference. And it makes sense because we feel safe and supported. So we're getting out of fight or flight. Our digestive system literally reacts to that feeling of that group mentality, feeling safe and held in a container. And the healing momentum is on our side. So I just want to also say good job for all of you for showing up today. And you could have done a million other things with your time, but you decided to show up right here, right now, and to learn more, to help yourself grow and evolve. So that's amazing that you're showing up and getting the support that you need. And as someone who's already been through the worst of it, I'm excited to be passing on the information and helping women feel amazing in their minds and bodies. It feels like my responsibility to do that now that I have healed myself. So you could continue doing it on your own like I did, maybe spending 5 years, maybe more, trying to find out all the answers on your own. Or you can be guided and supported in your transformation. Like I said, you already put in so much effort to be here and to take the next step toward healing. I'm sure you've all put in so much effort to heal yourselves, and it can be tough on your own. So the bonus gifts for all of you amazing women who stayed till the end, you all get 25% off the 3-month program. You sign up in the next 48 hours. This is only for people who are attending the webinar. Nobody else gets this bomb-ass discount. And then you also have access to my recorded masterclass, which is a $3,000 value, and it's going to have everything that you're learning in the program. It's going to be recorded, so you'll have lifelong access to that in case you ever want to refer back to it. You shouldn't need me or my program or my masterclass at all, but it's there in case you want the continued support. And so even after the program, you'll have access to weekly coaching calls where all the women who have ever been part of my programs get to join in and get to submit a question if they have a question about their healing or whatever it is that comes up. So I am inviting you to heal your digestion, feel amazing in your body again, have unshakable confidence, heal your relationship with food, make peace with your body and mind, become the master of your health, clear emotional and sexual blocks. So what are you waiting for? This is what you want. The question is, if not now, then when? When is this going to happen? So I would love to, oh, my computer's freezing again. No. I would love to give you guys a chance to get on the phone. You can get on a health strategy call and just talk about your health journey, where you're at right now, see where you're wanting to go, see what your health goals are, and then see if you are a good fit for the program. And you can just have a free 30-minute call. Right here is my, oops, what did I do? Uh-oh. Sorry, ladies. I'm not sure what I did. Anyways, I'm gonna stop sharing anyways. So yeah, book a call with me. My Calendly is right there, which has my availability. And now I just want to say thank you so much for showing up today and for being present and soaking up all this information. I know it was a lot to take in. So great job sticking with me. And I want to open it up for question and answer. If you have any questions, just put it in the chat. I'm going to go back. I know there were some questions before. And again, if you didn't put your name in the chat box, just please type your name and where you're coming from so that I know who was here so that you get the 25% discount. I want to make sure I get everybody who was here. Okay, so where are those questions? Okay, so from Anukriti, such a beautiful name. How do we connect with nature when we're stuck in an apartment during quarantine? That is an amazing, amazing question. And we are in really weird times right now, right? Where our literal freedom is being constricted. So how would I connect with nature? There's a couple things that I would recommend. Kind of the most odd idea, but I think is powerful, is to watch like a Earth documentary. So even though you're not physically in nature, our minds don't really know the difference between imagination and reality. So if you can even just watch a nature documentary, you're receiving a lot of the benefits of being in nature and you're feeling that tranquility come through nature. And maybe you're able to take a long walk to the grocery store. I imagine you're still allowed to go out and get food. So notice the little plants and the little trees that are on your way to the grocery store, even if it's not going into a forest, just appreciating what aspects of nature that there are around you. Okay, hopefully that helps. I know it's not ideal right now with the quarantine, but we got to do the best that we can. Okay. So Linnea, you asked about smoothies. That's a great question. Smoothies are generally not the best for healing IBS because oftentimes they are cold and there's a lot of ingredients in them. However, if you make it room temperature and say there's just like 1 or 2 ingredients in it, then that can be nice for your digestion. Again, I really encourage you to experiment and use your body as the scientific experiment and try that 2-ingredient smoothie and see how you feel. And if it tastes and feels really nourishing to you, then that's great. But if it feels it's compromising your digestive system, then that's probably not the best choice. Okay. Linnea, thank you. Very great information. Thank you, Glow. Thank you so much. Okay. And Joe, yes, I did say that my diet is mostly vegan. I've been plant-based for the last couple of years, and that's worked really well for me. Again, meat can be really hard to digest. So if you do feel like you need the nutrients from meat, you can try making broths, bone broths, to get out those nutrients without having to digest flesh. Okay, and then I'm seeing, how do you know how much time to heal the digestive system? How will I know when I'm ready for other foods? And you're so welcome. That's a good question. So every body is different, and depending on your process, it's going to take a different time. I'm not going to say that you can heal in 5 minutes. Like, I truly believe in the power of miracles. But for most people, it's not going to take 5 minutes. I would say on average, bank on 3 to 4 months to see that recovery in your system. So I'd say in like 4 months, 4 to 5 months, you'd start to be working in more complex foods and getting a little bit more wild with your choices. And I don't want to say that you can never like have a cheat day or something. I think it's impossible to eat perfectly all the time. And we'll talk about that more in the program if you end up joining. But I'd say about 4 months. And how will you know when you're ready for other foods? You try it. You sample new foods and you notice how your body's taking it. If your body's reacting in a not a nice feeling way, then that means your body's not quite ready to digest that kind of foods. Trisha, Yuna, Makana, so glad y'all are here. Brianna, yay. Right, so Joe, you're saying I don't eat meat and I struggle to eliminate grains. Yeah, for sure. Grains can be pretty hard to digest, especially highly processed grains. One helpful kind of emergency meal can be congee, which is a rice porridge. It's so simple, it's tonifying for the organs. It can be a really healing meal, and it's essentially just like a simple rice porridge. So you can look up a recipe for that. And when you're feeling like you're worse, you can eat congee or a broth soup or a very simple fruit compote with like boiled fruit, like cherries. Also, if you have any questions about this, just feel free to send me a message and I can go into more depth about anything. Okay, and Linnea, in the program, do you go over sample food plans? I totally struggle with this for sure. So I will definitely have some food plans for you all if you're in the program, because I know it can be like, what do I eat if I can't eat all of this? So totally, I will be giving you structured food plans if you wish to use them, or at least base your inspiration off of it. Great. Okay, any more questions, you all? Great questions. And if not, what about raw superfood drinks? Powders, yeah. So again, that depends. I know if it's something like Purium, they have so many ingredients in them. They can have like 20 ingredients. And while that might seem like the best thing to do for your body for nutrition, it can be a lot for the digestive system to work through. Every single ingredient has a different makeup that the body has to treat differently. So I would say avoiding those powders with like 20 different ingredients. For me, when I want to get my micronutrients and my protein in a condensed form, I do spirulina and chlorella. That's one ingredient and it's super packed with micronutrients. Awesome, you guys are so welcome. Aww. What is the cost, or do we DM you with that? I'm happy to share it now. So the program is $979 for the 3 months, plus all the self-work, plus the $3,000 master course, and the weekly calls for lifetime access. But because you're here in the webinar and you all stayed till the end, you get 25% off of that, which is $245 off, which is a huge discount I'm not offering other people. And it also comes with a guarantee that we're going to set goals at the beginning of the program, and we'll set them together. We'll create this very clear plan with definable goals. And if you feel like you don't meet those goals at the end, which I'm pretty sure that you will, but if you don't feel satisfied at the end, I guarantee that I will continue working with you one-on-one until you are exactly where you want to be with your health, because I'm doing this for your improvement, for my, I'm getting enjoyment out of it. It's my passion, but I'm doing this for you all to really heal. So I expect there to be huge transformation by the end, and I won't stop until we see that. Awesome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I had a great time with you. Send me a DM, and love you. All right, how do I end this thing? Bye-bye.